Welcome everyone, and we'll call to order the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners January 28th, 2025 meeting. If you please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Dr. Clemens has graciously accepted giving the invocation today, so if you please stand for the invocation and the pledge of flag.
Let us pray. Oh, gracious God, you've blessed us again with another day. We come today, God, to give you thanks for that day that you blessed us with. We thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to come before you, Lord. To come today, God, as you sent your son to be an advocate, to come tonight, Lord, to be advocates, to Father, to be able to speak on behalf of your people. Father, we pray tonight, God, that sound decisions are made, the right decisions are made, and that we seek you in all that we do, so that we may be led in the right way. We give you thanks tonight, God, and I ask God tonight that you would bless each of these commissioners, Lord, as they start this new year, that God, that they will lead this county in a way that this county will flourish. We thank you for all you do and all you've done and all you will do in your son Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is to adopt the agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Under appointments, number 3, appointment to the Joint Development Authority, Coweta, Fayette, and Meriwether.
Say that one more time.
Under appointments, appointment to Joint Development Authority, Coweta, Fayette, and Meriwether. Under unfinished business, number 3, we need to remove, after reviewing the modifications, will be within the county administrator's limit to approve in the general fund.
Remove item 3 under unfinished business.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. And then under new business, number 9, approve county administrator contract effective January 9th, 2025. And that is all.
Anyone have that up to speed before we move on? Everybody got those? Okay, next, are there any presentations?
We got it, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
sorry.
make a motion to adopt it, sir. With those changes.
All right, all in favor? All right, now, do we have any presentations today?
No, sir.
Finance report?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, in front of you, the bank balance is about 4 o'clock today. All finances look pretty good. Finances don't have a issue with anything. There is excess money that will be moved to an investment pools and the appropriate investment pools so we can gain that interest that's currently bringing in a good bit of money right now. We just got the fourth quarter tipping fees and the hosting fees. They are actually, should be reversed. Tipping fees was about $169,622.10. The host fees was $362,956.99. The law SPLOS and T-SPLOS will receive on Thursday. Your SPLOS and T-SPLOS commitments are on the back page. Available balance to spend in SPLOS as of today, $713,593.09. T-SPLOS, $202,656.93. And then we'll have our monthly allocations near the end of the month coming in as well.
So these totals are including the monthly allocations you listed on the previous sheet?
No, sir, these are December. January won't come in until Thursday, the 30th.
But this includes December numbers on this page?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So T-SPLOS is growing, positive balance back again. We will be putting gravel on the roads using T-SPLOS, and then SPLOS balance should be around 875, somewhere in that neighborhood once we get allocation. And then your LRA funds, there was a misprint on last month. I forgot to track out LRA, but we have $517,885.10 to use in LRA money. I think last month I told you 600,000, but it's 500.
Any other questions about the finance report?
Where are we at on the landfill?
I got a meeting with Susan on February 5th to go over the fee structure.
You'll have some information at our next meeting.
Yes, sir, because I did notice on this one, our rate went down 2 cents, and I reached out to her and want to know why our rate decreased 2 cents over last quarter.
Okay.
Any other comment? Okay, do we have any department heads to speak tonight?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let's see, we have 2 citizen comments.
Yes, sir.
Before we start, I have to read this. Speakers must contact the county clerk at a.stevens@meriwethercountyga.gov or call 706-672-3460 on or before the dates and times listed below in order to be placed on the agenda to speak. Speakers must provide their name, address, and topic they wish to discuss when they arrive at the podium. For the first Monday of the month, 6 p.m. meeting, speakers must email or call before 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. For the fourth Tuesday of the month, 6 p.m. meeting, speakers must email or call before 5 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting. Speakers must direct their remarks to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. Speakers will be allotted 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertinent to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speaker will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. First name on the list is Mr. James Clements. Dr. James Clements. Sorry.
Do I need to give my name and address? Okay. James C. Clements, 2675 Primrose Road, Greenville, Georgia, 30222. Mr. Chair, Board of Commissioners, good evening. I stand before you today on behalf of the Meriwether County chapter of the NAACP. I stand today to represent people who sometimes overlook, people who are silent, who sometimes don't feel that they have a voice to speak. That's what this organization was founded on, and those precepts are what we're standing on today. Today, I'd like to read to you a letter in regards to the extension of the lease for the Department of Family and Children's Services here at 17234 Roosevelt Highway, just in front of us. And if I may, Mr. Chair, read a letter to address the board. This letter addresses concerns over the termination of the lease for the Department of Family and Children's Services in Meriwether County. The building, constructed in 1996, provides essential services such as food assistance, child welfare, Medicaid, and the TANF. The decision to terminate the lease overlooks the impact on indigent, disabled, and impoverished families who rely on these services. The closure creates transportation and financial issues for residents needing DFAC services, especially during seasonal changes, making access impractical and delaying services while caseworkers are realigned. This decision has serious consequences for vulnerable families and needs reconsideration. Consultation with state representative revealed that the lease started in June 2012 and ended in 2013 with a renewal from June 2020 to June 2021. Since then, DFACS hasn't been allowed to extend the lease. Alternative building didn't meet state regulation, and attempts to share the existing building was declined by the county, which needed it for the purposes without seeking alternatives within Meriwether County. The DFACS office in Greenville has been a crucial resource for numerous families in need, providing services to an unspecified number of individuals annually. In the demographics we don't have tonight, but hopefully we'll have those if necessary next month. The removal of this essential service from our county would disproportionately affect our most vulnerable families who often depend on DFAC services for their survival and stability. The decision to relocate DFACs from the facility in the front not only undermines the intended purpose for which the building was constructed, but also imposes an undue burden on the families within our community who rely on these services. Accordingly, the Meriwether County chapter of the NAACP requests you reconsider this decision and explore solutions that allow DFAC services to remain within Meriwether County. The well-being of our community hinges on ensuring that these vital services remain accessible to those who need them the most. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We look. I was right on time, huh?
Right on. Yep.
All right. Just if I present you with this, we just ask at the minimum, have a town hall meeting with the people, especially those recipients, people who rely on these services, to let them at least know why the building was not, why the lease wasn't extended, so they can have that opportunity to at least talk to you as the representative for the county.
Thank you, sir. Next is Mr. Hayward Dunlap.
That would be me.
Oh.
Like,
Okay, that's fine. Just please state your name and address when.
yes. My name is Cynthia Journey Dunlap. I'll be speaking for the citizens of, and I live on
I'm sorry, ma'am, but what is your address?
103 November Lane,
Okay, thank you.
Pine Mountain, Georgia, and I live in Meriwether County, just off Crawford Creek Road. And to the panel, thank you for having me. And I have a couple of issues. That is the terrible conditions of Crawford Creek Road. I had been discussing with the former Commissioner Rosalind Plant, who was the former commissioner, about the road that we were having problems with, and the bus that didn't have a turnaround, and all the potholes. But my main problem that we're having is the terrible conditions that the off draft that the road that was putting off the water coming down to Crawford Creek Road on down to the private road that you all said was private, that is not private, coming off to the residents of November Lane, that's causing a bad water condition to the residents that live in November Lane, causing some bad water conditions and causing our livelihoods to be very bad. And with that said, we've been there for 40 years and our water supply is very bad. And you all who have been here for years know that Mr. Bruce O'Neill, who used to be here with the Meriwether County Water and Sewage, I knew him since I've been there for 40 years. He did some background on that road, and it was a county road maintained. Somebody went in those records and changed it. And whoever falsified those records said it was private and put on November Lane a black label, which is very discriminatory. And in the state of Georgia, there is no black labels on those Georgia signs. And if that is if anybody find out that you all did that, it will be very discriminatory. Very discriminatory. And I want somebody to take it off of November Lane sign right now. And it is offered to do that and made it private in our area on that sign. Private. November Lane has never been private in our area. And and I'm sorry to say, but I have this right here and I want to share this with you guys.
That's right.
Bruce O'Neill gave this to me before he left this earthly earth. And he promised to me that, Miss Dunlap, we're going to fix your road. And to let you know that I checked those records to let you know that your road was county maintained.
You entering that as evidence from this?
Yes.
Can we make a copy
Yes.
of that?
And somebody came years ago and promised to fix that road. And ever since then, my water has been contaminated. I had to get my drain lines fixed because all that water coming off Crawford Creek Road is coming down contaminated all of my residents residential people who live there. And I had to put money out of my pocket to uplift that road, bring gravel to help all of my community people who live there. And whoever put that black private on my sign, the bus have torn that sign down. The bus don't even have a roundabout. It's trying to back up to get these kids on the bus. I love that area because it's nice. And whoever
Okay.
done, y'all have to come and see.
Thank you,
for
ma'am. We've
yourself.
already
I
expired
know you
through. I
have,
know.
but I want to speak.
Yeah, you did. Thank you, ma'am.
That's why I'm here tonight. Oh, sorry.
All right. Next on the item is discussing the minutes from the January 8th, 2025 special call meeting at 4 p.m. Trust everyone's had a chance to review them. Any adjustments that need to be made?
I make a motion to accept.
I second.
All in favor? Next is the minutes from January 8th, 2025 special call meeting at 5 p.m.
I make a motion to accept.
Yes, ma'am. She's making it now. She'll bring it back to you in just a
Thank
second.
you.
Who seconded?
All in favor? All right, minutes from the January 8th, 2025 regular meeting at 6 p.m.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor? All right, minutes from the January 23rd, 2025 special call meeting at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I'll abstain.
You did
You
that.
abstained?
Yes.
And you abstained from the, no. Both,
Oops, I abstained from the 4 p.m. meeting.
okay.
Yeah, I wasn't here.
He abstained from the January 23rd, 6 p.m.
And so did Mr. Jean. Okay.
No, Gene made the motion to accept it.
Yes, that's staying. Gene wasn't here.
We need to repeal that, go back to it,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he wasn't here.
so. Right. That's right. So,
I make a motion, we accept it.
all right, second. Second, all right, all in favor? All right. No public hearings. Moving on to appointments. Item 1 is Lake Meriwether Advisory Board, 2-year term in District 1.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to appoint Chuck Bell to that position.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion passes. Item 2, Zoning Board of Appeals, 3-year term that expired on January the 5th, 2025.
This was Mr. Womack, correct? So I did speak to Mr. Mike Womack, and he is willing to sit again, so I make that in the form of a motion.
A second.
All right, a motion and a second, all in favor?
Thank you, Mr. Womack.
Item number 3, so Joint Development Authority for Coweta, Fayette, and Meriwether counties.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Jane recommended Alan Parham because Jerry Lofton has resigned from that position.
Do we have a motion from the board or another
I'll
recommendation?
make a motion for Allen Palmer.
I'll second it.
All right, a motion and a second, all in favor? Motion carries, all right. Next on the items are unfinished business, 2025 LMIG application and projects.
Commissioners, this item was tabled during the January 8th meeting. Meriwether County has been awarded $830,548.14 for the FY25 LMIG project, which requires a 30% matching contribution, and that total is $249,164.44, with a total being $1,079,712.58. Additionally, the inclusion of LRA funds, if needed, can provide up to $517,885.10. This would increase the total funding to $1,597,597.68. So just a little under $1.6 million if we use LRA funds. And there is a,
So let me ask a question there, because does that mean we have not fully committed LRA funds?
Correct.
To be, okay. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
if we, anything we use for LRA funds, it would reduce that amount from the 517. But, and there are, I think, 8 rows that were previously given to the board for consideration that were identified by Bill Cawthorn as some of the roads that need to be resurfaced. And the deadline for this is February 1st.
January 31st, actually.
Yes.
Turn it in.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we must make a decision tonight.
So I will say, last year, District 4 received no LNIG funds, so this year I am asking this board to consider at least one of the roads that involves District 4.
And those two roads for Mr. Threadgill's request would be Pebblebrook Road and Melvin Harris Road.
The Melvin Harris Road actually covers 3 districts, 3, 4, and 5.
Yep.
Right?
And it is in really bad shape.
And it is roughly 50 to 55% of the allotment that we have, including Yellow Road.
Correct.
Okay.
My opinion, I think there's other roads that need more attention than Melvin Harris, but, I mean, it doesn't matter to me which district we go to. I mean, District 3 got Lutherfield Road, so I'm fine with not getting anything, but I just don't see that Melvin Harris is in that bad a shape, and it's like, it doesn't have a whole lot of traffic either.
It is in pretty bad shape. I rode it a couple of weeks ago. But I will say this, up until last year, it has always been a respect part of this board to divide it at least for every district to receive something. Last year was the first time in my 12 years of sitting on this board that has not happened. So either divide it by 5 and give each district so we can choose our own roads, or at least include multiple roads that are each district are in agreement with.
So in District 1, the first one, Lucasville Road, does that finish that project?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
I'm like Commissioner Collins too. I had some stuff done in my district and I'm fine with not receiving it. But I still think instead of looking at this district, that district, or he didn't, or she didn't get anything, somebody should be showing us the most traveled roads with the most damage. If you got a road over here that's got a lot of damage, but it's getting a lot of traffic, and you got one over here that, it'd be nice to fix it, but it's not getting near the traffic, I still think it should be priority no matter whose district it's in, that benefits the traveling and the people of Marietta County as a whole.
I agree with most of that. That was part of the logic last year, was that the philosophy of the worst rated roads overlaid by the highest traffic seemed to be where the most next probable accident or some kind of, whether it was a personal accident or a vehicular accident that's caused property damage, would likely occur. I have been inclined since then, it's some of what Commissioner Threadgill is saying, is several people in the county were upset that would continue to be isolated in certain areas. One thing is, if we do go, and we've been told this by staff, so if I'm wrong, somebody correct me here, but once we do full depth reclamation on the road, we can redo it like we did last year, we don't have to touch that road again for 30 years.
You hope.
Is the
Right.
assumption that,
That's a projection.
yeah, so that's, one thing is if we can get things done that we don't have to go back to for a long time, that may delay some other smaller roads that, I'm fine either way, whatever the board decides to do. And if we put it all on one road and finish projects, if we put it in multiple districts, road that touches multiple districts, so that more citizens see an impact of their tax dollars. I do think we got a work session we're trying to plan coming up. We need to figure out, we got 2 big things we got to work on. Like Commissioner Threadgill brought up in the previous meeting of allocating funds for, infrastructure and the buildings around it, we need to do work on. We also need to do some with some of these roads and do a little more work possibly than what we've been doing with just the MIG, because we'll never catch up at this rate. So I'll stop talking and see what the rest of the board would like to say.
Well, I mean, that's what I stated, I feel the same way. I mean, we need to do I don't, if we had a road that was in District 4 that needed work, I mean, I'd be all for it. It's not going by
No.
district. I mean, this has got, you got 3, 4, and 5, and you got 3 and 5. So my name's on your road, either way we slice it or dice it, and I'm fine with that, or if you had one that was just in District 4 that needed work, I'd be fine with that. I'd vote for it right now.
But y'all didn't last year. I'm not trying to make this an argument thing. I'm just saying, out of respect, this is what I'm requesting of this board, is to at least put some of the money toward one of the District 4 roads. Those individuals pay taxes just like everybody else. Yes, there are roads that are in desperate need, but there are also roads that are in desperate need that would take the next 10 years of allocations of LMIG to fix those. So in the meantime, when we have roads that are in need of repair, and if we continue to put money toward roads that's going to take 10 years of the LMIG money, then what we're creating is additional roads in other areas that are going to be just like that.
Well, you can do the math. It's gonna be 70 years getting over all the county roads at the rate we go.
I'll still be here, Emmett.
I might be too.
Does the county of public works, do we have anything like GDOT stuff does where you can put across the road and get road count and so forth?
I don't think so, Commissioner, but we can definitely get one and put them on roads and see what the hell highly traffic roads are.
Because I'll say it again, and I'm fine with it, and if there's something down in Mr. Gill's district that's very important, only thing we don't want is to go do a road somewhere, no matter whose district it is, just because it's their turn, and then the phones blow up and go, do you realize this road over here gets 15,000 cars a day, and that one over there gets 900, but y'all went and fixed it just because, you know, I just want to make sure everybody's being treated fairly, no matter what district they live in, but, yeah.
And
I don't expect it, because we don't need it, we just got Lutherville, but you take a road like over here in Alberton Road, it cuts through, that is a main thoroughfare that goes from 85 to Lutherville Road to head to Hogansville. I mean, it's traveled like a highway, and that road is tore up, but, you know, we got a lot of things in that district already.
Is it on this list? It's on this list for these? What road did you just name?
Alberton Road.
I don't think Alton's on.
That's what we dealing with every day.
So that's all I'm saying is if there was a way we could, if there was a way, you know, in the future, if we could be getting traffic count too, for
Yes,
the
sir.
board to look at it as a team to go, wow, this, I didn't know that road got that much traffic. And I don't go south that much, so I don't know.
We have done traffic count studies before. We cannot do that ourselves as a county. It does have to be done through a state connection.
On a
And-
county road?
Yes, because it has to be advised. Most of the county roads have traffic coming off of state highways. And when we've done this in the past, it did have to be through a contracted state, because those numbers have to be turned over to the state as well.
Okay. Staff can research it and get back to the board.
Yeah, research it and see. You said, if we have to go through the state, let's go through the state, but also, I just don't know why they would have control of us counting the road count on our own county road, but that'd be fine.
Which one of these roads, we got two that are touching multiple districts. Which one of those is in the worst shape based on the staff's advice on the condition of roads? So it's Pebblebrook and Melvin Harris. Do we have that information?
I don't.
John, is the email that you sent me, is
That's
that
what
based in order of what, here, I had it printed.
Yeah, correct.
There you go.
That's
the
the
list
evaluation road that we got from Bill
That Bill
Cawthorn.
did.
Anything above a 29, I think, requires attention immediately.
Might need some different glasses.
And there were a lot of roads that weren't mentioned on here that are well above a 29, you know.
Which one's in the worst shape? The Melvin House?
Pebblebrook, rates 7.
When I asked Bill to pull these roads together, I asked him to look for ones that had the most residents and the ones that qualified on his list that needed reclamation.
Probably do both of them then, right?
Melvin Harris Road
Melvin's
rates,
in pretty bad shape.
Yeah, but I mean, we could do.
After the last meeting, did you ask him to go back and look at Keith Road at the bridge? I worry about public safety going across that bridge with a patient in the back of the ambulance or the fire truck trying to go over.
Yeah, it's an ongoing.
I mean, that would be avoiding
So at
a
the,
public safety
at
incident.
the bridge,
The bridge on
so
Keith Road.
according to the county staff, the worst rated road in the county is Melvin Harris Road.
It is.
That'll take care of getting a bad road and something in District 4.
It's cracked up. Okay. Yeah, spider web.
Mr. Chair, yeah, I'm supposed to ask a question. I know this is.
Does the board want to allow that? Not at this time, thank you. So if we have multiple roads, we need to come up with a commitment level for the entire balance, correct? So that we can say it this week. So based on, if, just as an example here, Melvin Harris Road is the worst rated road in the county, but that's only about 50% of what we need to allocate. Are there any other combinations we'd like to do?
We couldn't get us
Presented by
cost on it.
staff?
Commissioner, we
Just
could,
assume it so we can,
we
What's
could
the
add
next
Keith
worst
Road.
rated that we have?
and, call them out there, let's see, Alley Road is 18th, that's on here.
Ain't nothing in the district.
Forest Road
Well, yeah, Forest Road, I think.
Forest
is
is on.
15th.
To me, Forest Road's in a
It's
lot worse
different.
shape than Alley Road, and Alley Road's the more recent paved. So if we're talking about in District 2, from those lists, we have one on here for Forest Road, and we have Alley Road that
Cousins
I
down to
think from
Graham.
Cousins to Graham would need it more than Alley Road.
Okay, and it is higher, it is in worse condition than Alley Road.
Yes.
That would give us our LMIG Total.
Stovall is in worse condition than Forest Road. Got some Bullock Road. The Keith Road is number 34, was it on here? Or I believe you mentioned.
It wasn't mentioned on here, but it's in very bad shape. Wilbur Keith is horrible.
Mr. Chair, how many miles is Keith Road?
0.9 miles.
0.9.
I mean, Forest
We got
Road, you've got
400,000.
1.3. Could we trade out the 1.3 on Forest Road for the Keith Road?
You couldn't have, that'll put us about half, so that should be our LMIG allocation right there.
Which one?
Keith Road and Melvin Harris.
But you've got 3 roads that are in worse condition than that. One of which I know is the second highest traffic road in the county, Stovall.
Stovall is gonna be 1.5 million by itself.
Okay. No, it's not. Not on the presentation here, it's not.
Oh, that's Primrose, I'm sorry. Where's Stovall?
I don't think we had Stovall Road.
Stovall is 902.
It would be,
Okay.
so we'd be at 1.778, would we change? So we'd be 200,000-ish over, right at $200,000 over that combination, which is okay.
Correct, we got T-Splosh,
T-Splosh.
correct.
Okay, y'all.
So there's one option.
But if, John, if you'll get in touch with AMC and let them give us see if they can get us some bids on these roads, it might come in cheaper.
We have to turn it in just a couple of days though, don't we?
We do.
The name of the
Yeah,
road.
but I mean,
Yeah.
we could.
Then we have to put out for RFP and get the
I'm
actual
just
cost.
saying, if
Is
you
it
did these
possible
two
to pick
roads
our
and
roads
had
here and then get somebody to
200,000 over,
evaluate, and
got
after we get the
EMC
funding, fix the
to go
roads that
out
we submitted, but also fix
assess these
more?
roads and put them out for bid, it may come back cheaper.
Like if the bid
Hold
comes
on,
back
let's just do
cheaper.
one conversation.
Oh, sorry.
Goes up to paying 3 a mile.
You good? Everybody good?
Well,
Yes, we can change the names of the roads that we submit if we find that there's more damage than we thought. And we can do more roads than what this LeMig project is for at any time.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. If we submit these roads and get approved for those, and then we find a company that comes in and says, I can get you a different contract that we can do it cheaper than what we were originally quoted, then we can address more roads
Right.
that were an issue that we, like they didn't realize were an issue.
Commissioner,
Right.
to answer your question, correct, yes, we have to put out an RFP. If the RFP comes back less than the bid, than what we're proposing, we can add additional road to it
Okay.
and get a quote on that as well. But by our procurement guidelines, we have to put out an RFP, it's over.
Right.
That's correct, RFP.
All right, just for information purposes for the board, Melvin Harris Road is I'm going by the number on the side of this sheet. It's not an official ranking because it's the road with the Excel spreadsheet. The first 6 are other items, but the worst road is Melvin Harris at 7th row. Second worst is Stovall on the 10th row. Then we go down to the 17th row for the section of Forest Road that was presented. Then we go to 18 for Alley Road, 21 for Lucasville Road, 33 for Primrose, 34 for Wilbur Keith that was brought up, 58 for Pebblebrook, 91 and 92 for Judson Boulevard. So, in my opinion, we should focus in the top area.
So
He said it
Melvin
can be
Harris
changed,
and Stovall.
we gotta meet the deadline, so that sounds like a good plan, and then we'll pass it through, and then we can still have time to see if something else needs to change.
So right now we have, Melvin Harris Road and Stovall Road would basically fulfill the LMIG with the LRA.
Correct.
That would be enough for me to submit it. I mean, as long as you're meeting the 30% threshold, we're good.
Yeah, and then that covers multiple districts and fully utilizes the money and it attacks the top 2 roads on our list that were presented by staff. All right, would anyone like to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve Melvin Harris Road and Stovall Road.
I'll second it.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Is that everything you guys need to be able to get that accomplished?
I'll have you sign the application.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Next item under unfinished business is elections build-out.
Commissioners, we had one RFP for Rubio and Sons for the elections bid out. We were asked to go back and negotiate. We were successful in negotiating Rubio and Sons interiors. The revised bid came in at $419,915. This was following review of elections office needs, and the board is present here. If you have any questions for them, you do have the attached proposal. The only other option would be for staff to piecemeal it out together. And with that, I don't think we would come in close on this and come in on deadline. So staff will recommend approving. Well, we need an additional $10,000 for the roof repair, and that's from the same company, Rubio and Son. That's just going back and tighten up and fixing one little patch of roof that needs to be addressed. So staff is recommending SPLOS allocation of $430,000, not to exceed
For how much?
$430,000.
For the elections office build-out.
Correct. And election board is here to,
And that's been laid out that they'll cover everything. No coming back with a change order for another 80, 110, 75.
Patty, y'all,
What do you look at them for?
I
They're not over the
wasn't here
expense
I wasn't here during the negotiation with the contractor. They went to elections office and they went through their list and kind of narrowed down what they could cut out and substitute out.
So
I don't foresee any change orders.
It'll
It'll be Rubio and Son Interiors.
Present a layout to the whole board. This is what it's going to pertain. This is what we're going to do. We guarantee we're not going to come back and need more. And
But their proposal was attached to the minute. So I don't foresee any changes. I don't think he brought up any changes through that because they went through the whole building with elections.
I think with the circumstances of an RFP and how it came back before the board and with the decision that we made to be able and allow to go back for renegotiation with the same company that had come in at that bid, I think we are grateful that it came back at $419,915 versus the original $671,000 that was there. So I don't think that going back and forth with them at this point really serves a purpose after what we were explained by legal that we needed to move forward to renegotiate, and we were allowed to renegotiate with that lowest bidder. And that's what the board made a decision on, and that's what we did.
I agree with that. I also understand his concern with several projects from different boards, authorities, whatever in the county has come back to us with change orders that cost a lot of money. Is legal reviewed this?
Not the It was just a proposal, it's not a
So
contract.
once we get to the contract, then I think, make sure legal reviews, and then we, make sure there's
Is there a
clauses
legal
and wording
review?
in there that it's not to exceed and it's effective on the quote dates. If they are delayed in construction due to their busyness, their schedule, what have you, and they come back and prices have gone up, which is what we experienced years ago, it's not our problem.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. And he realizes April 18th is their drop
It is
dead.
addressed in our contractor that we send out.
And it's the
That's
same
what-
contractor that went from 600 to 400?
Correct.
Wow, that makes you wonder why he was 200,000 to begin with, higher. So,
Did they take out a lot or make a lot of changes to the?
We made some significant changes.
I couldn't be here for the negotiations. They went to the elections and election board and negotiated with the contract. I think they went line by line and seen what was pertinent and what wasn't. It was 38, almost 40 lines of breakdown.
so does the board that met with him, do y'all feel confident that he covered everything you're thinking that, because y'all been studying this for a while and y'all been needing this for a while, but in y'all's minds, you don't think he's left anything out, forgot about anything to where y'all come back like other authorities and go, wow, we overlooked this, so.
We feel that everything we've reviewed so far has been comprehensive. Now, no one can, the board can't, this board can't, y'all can't have a crystal ball to know what the future's gonna hold. So there's always the potential for a change order if there's something unforeseen. But I believe we've more than met our due diligence in bringing this to ground and cutting corners, trimming costs, and making applicable spending of the taxpayers' dollars.
Thank you.
So with the coming issues that we have, moving employees into other buildings and then refurbishing courthouse and tax assessor and tax commissioner and all of those buildings, are we, by doing this, going to deplete ourselves in SPOS and we have to hold back on that?
Let's see what SPOS is.
It's 517, 885, we went 419 and change.
713, about 300. With the allocation coming in, we'll have just under $500,000 in SPOS. The board was allocated not to exceed $430,000.
Which means there's no SPOS for any other project.
Well, we'll have $500,000 of SPOS still available once we get this month's allocation in 2 days.
So we can spend this 419,000 and then still have another $500,000 to spend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's not how I read this.
You got to add another 150, 160,000 to the 713 because that's going to come in on Thursday. So that's going to give us almost 900,000
Got
in
it.
SPOS.
My apologies, I was looking at LRA total, not SPOS.
And staff did go back and look in, find everything that was allocated to SPOS, including the IDA access drive for 251,000. That is at committed earmarked now. So it's 713,000 plus the 160 something is going to give us close to 900 minus this. You're still looking at about $500,000.
I just like to say again, if the board chooses to move forward with this, whoever gets the contract or legal looks at the contract or whoever the contractor is, somebody really needs to look at them in the eye and stress, are you ready to sign this and you're confident with it? Because all the years of experience I've had, they know they can come in under, and then once they've gotten that far, they're pretty much gonna get the additional funds or this or that and so forth. So that's how they get in there. And I don't want to come back and have to vote for another $100,000 or $75,000 for something because somebody didn't do the job.
Yes, sir, I
I need to
understand.
be confident on this.
And I met with this contractor the first time, and he seems very confident he can do everything under the amount he quoted us. And with 24/7 access to the building, he believes he'll hit the April 18th deadline with no problem. He's assured us of that. Because he has 24/7 access to the building. There is nothing in that building.
There's been a lot of discussion. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve not to exceed $430,000 and for the money to come from SPOS.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Motion passed. Moving on to new business. Item 1 is approval of banking and financial services and signatures for 2025.
Commissioners, Meriwether County Board of Commissioners currently uses 4 banks in Meriwether County. F&M Bank and Colony Bank are both in Manchester. First Peoples Bank in Greenville, United Bank in Woodbury. For 2025, the designated check signers will include County Administrator John Gorton, Chairman Adam Worsley, Vice Chairman Emmett Collins, and County Clerk Allison Stevens. Once the Finance Director is hired and has completed a 90-day probational period, this request will be represented to add the Finance Director as a signer for 2025. And we went back, and this is consistent with what we have done in previous years.
Okay, any questions from the board or motion?
I make a motion, we approve banking and financial services and signatures for 2025.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? All right, next item is approval of bid for residential cost taking.
Commissioners, the RFP opening took place on January 24th, 2025. At the last meeting, it was stated it was January 25th. I apologize about that. I had the dates mixed up, but it was Friday the 24th. We received a single bid from Bethesda Appraisal Services LLC for $40,000. Staff recommends approval of this bid. This is a budget item that was for fiscal year 2025 in the tax assessor's budget.
All right. We have a motion from the board.
I'll make a motion, we approve this, not to exceed $40,000 for some Bethesda appraisal service.
Second.
Have a motion, we have a second. Commissioner King, all in favor? Motion passes. Item 3, approval of bid for countywide aerial flight.
Commissioners, it's going to be on the next two as well. Like I said, the bids are open on 24th, not the 25th, as I stated last meeting. Staff received 2 bids for this project. Sanborn Geospatial for $88,630.21. The number in your packet is wrong, so it's $88,630.21. And another for Eagle View for $193,585 to evaluate the proposal. Staff contacted both companies and asked the following questions. How many flights does your proposal include? What are the payment terms? Is payment required up front, or can it be split over a period of time? Do you offer free flights in the event of a disaster? Sanborn's proposal included 1 flight and offers a 1-year payment plan divided in installments as the project progresses. Eagle View's proposal, on the other hand, covers 2 flights, one in year 1, which would be 2025, another in year 3, 2028. They offer a 3-year installment payment plan for each flight with annual payments of $32,264.17. Eagle View highlights the importance of conducting 2 flights to track changes between year 1 and year 3. Payments would be 25 to 27 and then 28 to 30. Chief Appraiser William Harris is to speak on to give further details. This is a budgeted item. It was allocated $37,000 annually, and this was based off of Eagle View. We were not aware that there was another company that would service this area, and that was Sanborn. And Chief Appraiser William is here somewhere, I believe.
If you don't mind, please,
Clarify exactly what this is for, what they're doing.
and what your preference is between the 2 proposals, if you can.
Or should we just buy you a drone and save the county some money?
We brought that drone idea up and people thought it was a bad idea, so we're not gonna do it. Okay, what this aerial flight will do, there are a lot of 200, 300, 400 acre tracts. Most of these tracts are gonna be gated. So if people are building structures, building homes, and they're not getting the proper permits, we don't know about this. The example I give is there was a particular city in Meriwether County where an apartment complex was missed because we did not get permits for it. Even though we had called and contacted the city asking were there anything they had, well, the citizens started complaining, saying, well, you guys don't have this on the tax record, you guys don't have this, you don't have that. We thought a good way to settle this was do a countywide flight. It would then track everything that's out there today. With the change option, when it flies the next time, it'll tell me, hey, we don't have this pool. Hey, we don't have this commercial building. Hey, we don't have these structures. So where there's a shortage of staff, we'll now be able to digitally get this information and know which areas to work in versus trying to kind of comb the entire county of Meriwether. It's such a large county to cover. It's just creating gaps, and we would like to close more of these gaps.
So between these two proposals, one is we would pay $88,000 this year for one flight. The other is that they would fly twice this year. And then again, in 3 years, fly 2 more times. Is that correct?
Well, fly one more
flight
time. So we get 2 flights over 6 years, excuse me.
Once now and once again in 3 years.
In 3 years, correct. Payments are broke down. I guess the other difference is the change options. The change option is included in our price with Eagle View. If you kind of divide that in half, it's like, I guess, $97,000 a flight. If you were to add the change options to Sanborn, we'd be over $100,000.
What is a change option?
That's the option that tells when the plane flies over that this doesn't match the records we have.
So it alerts.
Yes,
It
it will alert
automatically
us.
flags.
Correct.
So do you have, from your staff point of view, in your department, do you have a recommendation of which proposal you would like to use?
I would recommend Eagle View.
Eagle View?
Yes.
And commissioners, and we can test this, we contacted Troop County, and Troop County's actually used both of them.
Yeah, they use Sanborn for the first flight, and then they use Eagle View for the second flight. Here's a benefit that I like about Eagle View, why I would lean more towards Eagle View. Eagle View will give us a few licenses. So that means the fire department can log in and be able to look at what's going on properties. Building and zoning can now log in. They came down, they did a presentation for us showing us the benefits of their software. I can't walk every property, but with the flight, I can get actually a oblique imagery all the way around the property. So I actually don't have to be on the property. I could measure a lot of these properties right inside of their system. The difference between Eagle View versus Sanborn. Sanborn gives us a hard drive that we kind of got to get uploaded unless we pay a little extra fee to use their server. Eagle View is already service provider for the WinGap camera software that we have. And because they're already a service provider, I think it would actually make it an easy transition to use them.
They also said that we did meet with them as a group, being the governing zoning and with them. And the presentations they gave us, I was very impressed with as well, because we do miss some of the building permits because people are adding to their homes or even putting in-ground pools we don't even know anything about. And so this would help us get everything back into our system as well.
How long was the presentation?
How long was the presentation?
Like 45 minutes or
Almost
so.
an hour, I was
Almost
in
an hour
that
long.
presentation as well.
About an hour long presentation.
I wish we would have known. I would have loved to have gone for some of the.
Well, that's about what I'm going to recommend, is that we table this and request that they come before this board with the presentation. Not only will that be on record for the citizens of this county to get a more in-depth understanding, but also the commissioners that sit on this board to get a more in-depth knowledge of this too.
It's about an hour long, so.
Okay, would you want both or just one of them to come do a presentation?
I think one is, the one that you're
The one
recommending.
that you want, that you like,
Yeah.
Because right now, that sounds the most appealing, but it's double the cost. It does get us a second
Well,
round in the last 6 years.
It's not, we don't have to use the second flight. The second flight is not, they gave us the price of the sixth flight because that's how they broke it down. But when we asked the further questions, we only have to commit to the first flight.
Okay, that's not in here, so.
Yeah, that's not, so we're asking for the price of 2 flights.
Right.
It is.
If you're gonna pay for one flight, you're gonna have to have the other flight, or you don't know what you're missing out.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering,
But
why
my
we didn't use
question,
the
I'd like
same
to
company
know-
twice, like if we use Sanborn, use them now and then call them back and tell them to come do it again.
But you're not saving any money, you're actually getting more for the price.
Yeah.
Can someone answer this question dollar-wise? Other counties, if they do this or don't do it, whatever, and I understand people build things, don't get a permit, sooner or later they get called out there. This is the question I'd like to know. Would you find enough stuff to earn more back than what we're gonna spend? Or would we spend $100 and some thousand and then someone goes out and they get a permit, so they pay $50 for it and this and that and so forth, and they get slapped on the hand? But are we spending $100 and some thousand a year to bring in $25,000 a year because we didn't know they did it?
Yeah, it's gonna be more than 25. Cause one complex that we capture may bring us in $30,000-$40,000 worth of revenue. So imagine if that's one in one particular area. How many more have we missed over these times?
So it's not the collecting the missed building permit fees, it's the actual adjustment to the tax register that drives the property taxes.
Correct.
I do make a motion that we request Eagle View to come before this board and make the same presentation so that we can make a more educated decision.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? All right. So that's.
We'll have to figure it
We'll have
out.
to figure out when we get a date from them, then we'll put it back on the agenda. Okay.
Correct, Mr. Chairman. We'll contact Eagle View and see what their flexibility is, and we'll let the board know.
Thank you. Okay, item 4, approval to re-advertise RFP for commercial revaluation.
Commissioner, this is the third one that was open on the 24th. We did not receive any bids, and staff is seeking approval to re-advertise this request for proposals for the commercial revaluation project in Meriwether County.
0 bids.
Correct. We had one that was interested, but they could only do half this year, half next year. And I spoke with Will, and we told him that would be fine if they put in a bid. You know, they could hit the one side of the county 1 year, and then the next year hit the other side of the county.
So you just need approval to go back out and try to get bids again.
Correct.
I make a motion to re-advertise this, commercial reevaluation project.
I'll second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second, all in favor? Next item, discussion of Cane Creek Bridge project and bid.
Commissioner, this was the last RFP that was open on the 24th, or it was the first one that day. Staff received a single bid, and the amount is wrong in your packet. It's actually $385,113 from Asana Construction, Inc. It was significantly higher than anticipated cost of $100,000. Additionally, CSX has informed staff of new requirements that must be completed before the bridge can be repaired. Staff are currently working to attain the necessary documents from CSX and determine the associated costs. There's some out about liability. They want a $5 million policy and plus additional documents that Bill was not aware of until they reached out to him. Given the inspected bid amount and the recommendation is to close this bridge after repairs, staff is requesting to table this to the February 10th meeting to allow staff time to find out alternate solutions and to receive these documents from CSX to get the actual cost.
Pleasure of the board.
I make a motion to table per staff request.
Second.
All in favor? Item 6, approval of ACCG GCIP grant agreement for intern with planning and zoning, and allow the chair to sign.
Commissioners, each year, the ACCG's GCIP offers grants opportunities for interns available to any department within the county. In recent years, probate court has consistently received an intern through this grant. Last year, both the probate court and tax office was awarded a grant for interns. This grant operates on a reimbursement basis, providing opportunity for interns to gain hands-on experience in a designated department. The contract has been reviewed by legal, and staff recommends approval and authorization for chairman to sign the agreement. And this is for planning and zoning.
We have a motion from the board. So moved. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor? Next item is approval of ACCG GCIP agreement for intern at probate court. Allow chair to sign.
Commissioners, I could read the same thing again if it's basically the same thing. This one is for probate court to continue on as they've in previous years to have an intern.
So moved.
Second.
He got it out first.
Who seconded?
Emmett?
All right, have a motion and a second, all in favor? Item 8, consideration of intergovernmental agreement with City of Manchester for animal control service.
Commissioners, on Wednesday, January 15th, I met with Manchester City Manager Mark Pulliam to discuss animal control services in the City of Manchester. Currently, there is no intergovernmental agreement, IGA, in place between the City of Manchester and Meriwether County. During our discussion, I provided Mr. Pullen with the attached IGA. He agreed with his terms for animal control services. As outlined in the IGA, the City of Manchester will adopt Meriwether County's animal control ordinances. Additionally, any fines issued within Manchester will be collected and sent to Meriwether County Animal Control to help offset the cost of services provided. Legal has drafted and reviewed the intergovernmental agreement. Staff recommends approval of the IGA and authorization for the chairman to sign the agreement.
Years ago, we had actually put this before the council in Manchester to adopt our ordinances. Did that not take place? Okay.
And Commissioner 3, I did talk to Mark Pulliam, and he didn't have all the ordinance in there, but he is aware that they have to adopt our full ordinance, and he does have a copy of our full ordinance that he will be presenting to their mayor and council for adoption.
Is the Meriwether County Animal Control Department properly staffed to take on this additional role?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
They've actually been doing it with some issues, probably due to the fact that the full ordinance was not adopted by the city. But they have been doing this for how many years, Mayor? 3? Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure when we come back and add 1 or 2.
Under this IGA, Mr. Chairman, we did add under section 4, if the city has a municipal police department, it agrees to enforce animal control ordinances by issuing citations for violations occurring within its jurisdiction. So we'll go through the Manchester Police Department first, and then animal control will come on side.
But all fines and fees collected by Manchester will be turned over to
Yes, sir, Mr. King.
100%.
Yes, sir. According to this agreement, according to Mr. Mark Pulliam, all fines and forfeitures will be turned over to Meriwether County, and that is in this agreement.
So hearing that said, I'll make a motion for the consideration intergovernmental agreement with the city of Manchester based on the criteria and information provided by staff.
Second.
Allow the chair to sign.
And allow chair to say.
You second that?
Second.
All right, have a motion and a second, all in favor? Okay, next on the list, item 9 is the approved county administrator contract effective January 9th, 2025.
Commissioner, I was appointed county administrator on January 9th, 2025. In front of you have the contract that I'm requesting that the Board of Commissioners approve effective January 9th, 2025.
Have all the commissioners had a chance to review the contract? Yes. I think we all have copies, so, okay. Now I'd like to make a motion that we approve the county administrator contract with John Gordon effective January 9th, 2025 at a pay grade of S12 with a non-compete and non-solicitation clause for 12 months, not within an area with a radius of 30 miles from the county's administrative offices.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Motion passed.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, the report from the county administrator.
Commissioners, the courthouse assessment has started. EMC was down yesterday. They were looking at it and giving their assessment. They will be down probably the entire week looking, taking pictures. I told them we wanted a view of the whole entire square, outside, inside, up, down, left, and right. So EMC is on that. The fuel farm removal in Manchester has started. I met with Manchester about the animal service IGA, attended their meeting. I have a meeting with Waste Management about a fee structure on February 5th. We do have leadership training for upper management beginning in February, and it's mandatory for all department heads and upper level managers to attend. It's West Georgia Tech from 1 to 5 o'clock. So if anything happens in the department, they're right here in the area. They can be there in a matter of minutes. The audit begins on February 3rd. Be working on a few more RFPs, hopefully bring it to you for February approval. Our insurance broker for property and liability and medical RFPs I'm trying to finish up. We do have public hearings scheduled for the month of February for House Bill 581. I will have to miss the February 3rd one. I have to be in Lone Oak to discuss the fire station lease and the IGA for their building permits. They moved their hearing from the 20th to the 28th, then to the 3rd, so I can attend that one. Matthew Brown will present the House Bill 581 in my absence. And we're going to be researching alternate routes for Cane Creek Bridge. And we have marked Dunn Road for speed bumps. And we did talk to the resident out there. He came by and mentioned where he would like to see speed bumps. So they are marked, and Public Works should be getting those installed soon. And we do have gravel lined up to go on dirt roads starting tomorrow with Thompson and RKO.
Okay. Report from county commissioners, Commissioner Thurgood,
I don't have anything right now.
Commissioner Collins.
I'd like to thank staff and employees for the work you're doing, and I'd just like to remind everybody, don't forget, about the transmission line that's coming through Meriwether County, February the 21st, they're gonna have a meeting at RD Hill.
RD Hill.
They'll have 2 meetings, one's from 2 to 4 and one's 6 to 8. So anybody that has any opposition to that, please attend. And that's all I have.
Mr. Snelson?
I just want to thank everybody for what they're doing, and the ones who in the weather were out working in the weather, while the rest of us were, I was out riding the roads, but the ones who showed up and came to work so that our taxpayers had the offices open that they needed to use that day. Thank those for that, and still looking forward to a great year.
Commissioner King?
Same thing. Appreciate what everybody's doing, and hopefully we'll start getting out of this crazy weather we've been having and start getting ready for spring and enjoy Meriwether County, and all of us work together and get some things done.
All right, I'll echo that. We'll just thank the staff and everyone that was involved in all the work that we're doing, and especially out in the weather. Not everybody wants to do that, and especially sometimes you get warming up to do that. So thank everyone for that, and look forward to what we're going to get accomplished this year. Do we have a report from the county attorney?
I have no report.
We have a need for executive session
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, for real estate.
for real estate.
Yes, sir.
I'll read the future meetings and notices before we go into executive session. The next meeting is Monday, February 3rd, 2025, a special call meeting at 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. to discuss House Bill 581. Monday, February 10th, 2025, a regular board meeting at 6 p.m. Tuesday, February 11th, 2025, special call meeting 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to discuss House Bill 581. On the fourth item is closed Monday, February 17th, 2025 for President's Day. So I need a motion to go into executive session to cover litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax matters.
Just real estate.
Or do we have
So
a,
cover it all in case it comes to
So
Oh, see
moved.
it.
So moved.
Second.
it. All in favor? We are in executive session at 7:07.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. No action was taken in executive session. Any other business come before the board?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor? Yeah. Y'all, adjourn.